Operation Cinder was the codename for the orbital bombardment campaign devised by the Galactic Emperor Darth Sidious, who sought to punish the Galactic Empire for failing to prevent his death. Following the Emperor's demise during the Galactic Civil War in the Battle of Endor in 4 ABY, his instructions were relayed to loyal Imperial officers by Sentinel messenger droids. They targeted various planets across the galaxy, including Burning Khan, Candovent, Abid Nidor, Comenor, and Acronis, as well as Vardos, a world known for its loyalty to the Empire, and the Emperor's home world of Naboo. Although Naboo was saved during the Battle of Theed, Vardos was devastated by the satellites that ravaged ecological balance. Operation Cinder was the first part in the Emperor's contingency plan. The Empire was to be rebuilt in the unknown regions while Sidious was secretly revived on Exegol. The plan was undermined by Grand Admiral Ray Sloane, who killed the Emperor's protege, Fleet Admiral Gallius Rax, during the Battle of Jakku in 5 ABY. The widespread destruction caused by Operation Cinder also results in Iden Versio and Del Meeko, Imperial Special Forces commandos of Inferno Squad, defecting to New Republic Defense Force. Despite these setbacks, the contingency succeeded in ensuring the Empire's revival as the First Order, a military junta determined to recapture the Imperial legacy by ending the New Republic era. Emperor Palpatine, ruler of the Galactic Empire and Dark Lord of the Sith, believed that if he was ever to perish unexpectedly, then the Empire did not deserve to live beyond him. He likened it to the strategy game of Shatez, in which the role of the game piece was to protect the Imperator. If the Imperator was to fall, the surviving game pieces had failed and the game was over, as the others did not deserve to carry on. As a result of that belief, he entrusted Gallius Rax, who knew Palpatine since Rax was a small child before rising to the rank of Fleet Admiral in the Imperial Navy, with carrying out a contingency plan that called for the annihilation of the Empire and its enemies. The contingency also called for the Empire's rebirth. However, by allowing a small group of Imperial survivors to regroup in the unknown regions where they will rebuild the Empire. In 4 ABY, Emperor Palpatine was believed to have been killed by Darth Vader during the Battle of Endor, leaving the Sith extinct. The contingency was activated soon after. As part of the plan, several wars were targeted for destruction through the orbital bombardment campaign that was codenamed Operation Cinder. Messenger droids were sent out to select Imperial officers to relay the last orders of the Emperor to begin Operation Cinder at once. After the Battle of Endor, Iden Versio, commander of the Imperial Special Forces Commando Unit Inferno Squad, was summoned by her father Admiral Garrick Versio aboard the Eviscerator in orbit of Vardos to receive her next orders. She received her orders via message droid carrying the Emperor's last command. Though she was suspicious of what Operation Cinder entailed, Inferno was sent to an Imperial shipyard above Fondor to provide security for Moff Rafe, who was procuring and transporting satellites that were crucial to Operation Cinder. Although Inferno was not informed about the target of the satellites, during this time Rebel Alliance attempted to assault on the Dauntless, but their MC-80 Star Cruiser flagship was ultimately destroyed by Inferno. After securing Wraith's satellites and destroying the Emperor's observatory on Pilio, Iden Inferno Squad returned to Vardos, an Imperial haven of the homeworld of the Versio family. Upon arrival, they noticed the experimental satellites they had protected at Fondor deployed in the planet's upper atmosphere, along with the Dauntless itself, the flagship of Wraith. Now aware of their target, Iden confronted her father aboard the Eviscerator, furious that their own homeworld was targeted by Operation Cinder, despite its loyalty to the Empire. In response, Admiral Versio stated that his point of view of Operation Cinder, that for the greater good of the Empire, Vardos and the other worlds to be sacrificed so that the utter fear and brutality would prove beyond the doubt of the galaxy, the Empire was still in charge. Garrick then ordered for the satellites to be activated, spawning massive electrical storm systems within minutes. Whilst the storm systems laid waste to the planet's surface, anti-air batteries shot down any non-Imperial ships attempting to leave in order to contain them from Vardos. Iden and Inferno Squad were ordered by Garrick to extract Protectorate Gleb alone from the planet to bring him the Aqualish to him. However, at the Archive of Kestra City, Iden and Del Meeko attempted to bring along their other civilians with them to transport them off-world. Agent Gideon Hask, refusing to disobey Garrick's commands, attempted to prevent this from happening, but was unable to stop civilians from fleeing to the Corvus. Iden claimed that the Empire's job was to protect civilians from things like Operation Cinder. Hask responded that this was a new Empire, promoting Meeko to state that he was sought no part in this new Empire, and will follow the orders of his commanding officer, Iden. When Hask refused to lower his blaster, and aimed it at Iden, she shot him first in the leg. Hask returned alone to Garrick with Gleb and Erodian while Iden and Del escaped aboard the Corvus with their crew, jumping into hyperspace to the Outer Rim territories. There, they decided to formally surrender themselves to the Rebel Alliance. Not long after the Battle of Endor, Captain Laird Duvat of the Star Destroyer Torment was approached by the messenger droid, which relayed the Emperor's final command to begin Operation Cinder at once. 20 days after the Battle of Endor, Duvat's Star Destroyer was relocated to Naboo and launched satellites in orbit to form a climate disruption array. The array was used to create massive hurricanes and electrical storms across the planet. By the time the array's power reached 20% efficiency, 3 Class 5 hurricanes were already formed with a dozen more forming. As fires, flooding, and chaos ripped across the surface of the planet, Lieutenant Shara Bey of the Alliance to Restore the Republic, who accompanied Princess Leia Organa to Naboo, Organa rallied the support of Queen Sosha Soruna in establishing the New Republic, realized the satellites had been behind the phenomenon. The only means of Naboo had fighting back was to scramble fighters to destroy the satellites. Bey was placed in command of the mission, with Organa and Soruna accompanying her. The Emperor demilitarized Naboo many years earlier, but the few N-1 fighters remained in storage from the Battle of Naboo decades earlier. Once in orbit, Bey destroyed a number of satellites while Organa and Soruna dealt with TIE fighters dispatched from the Torment. The three pilots were outgunned against 72 TIE fighters and were nearly killed until General Lando Calrissian arrived with the Rebel fleet, along with Danger Squadron, whose newest members were Iden and Miko, former Imperial commanders who provided key intel to the Alliance about Operation Cinder. The Alliance had also gathered intelligence of Operation Cinder during a raid at the Imperial Security Bureau complex at the Wretch of Tehran, allowing them to move their forces to Naboo in time to help save the planet. Though Danger Squadron was able to destroy the satellites and cripple the Star Destroyer in orbit above Naboo, surviving Imperial forces following the standard protocol evacuated to the nearest safe haven, Theed, the capital city of Naboo. There, Danger leader Shriv Surgov, Iden, and Miko met up with Organa, who covered Miko as he repaired Theed's defenses. Once the rebels were inside the royal palace, the defense system was activated, sending an ionic disruption across the city that disabled all blasters and starfighters, forcing the remaining Imperials to surrender. Afterwards, Organa confronted Iden and Miko over the damage they had done to the Alliance in the past. Iden apologized on behalf of them, and wished to continue the fight with the Alliance in order to continue the fight against Operation Cinder in the new Empire. Leia complimented them on being images of hope for the galaxy, and formally welcomed them to the New Republic, which Inferno Squad was integrated into. In the aftermath of the Battle of Endor, Burning Khan was blocked down by Governor Ulbricht Adelhard in an iron blockade that pomegranated propaganda claiming that reports of the Emperor's death were in fact lies. As a result, Burning Khan's underworld operatives had begun to foster their own uprising against the Empire, seeking alliances with other worlds affected by the blockade. Around 3 months after the Battle of Endor, the Empire sent Valen Hess and at least one division to carry out the operation on the planet. During their attack, one of the cities attempted to resist, coming in from the civilians who sought to defend their homes. In response, Valen Hess ordered the city to be wiped out, an action which caused the loss of many civilians in an entire division, which numbered between somewhere 5,000 to 10,000 troops, a staggering loss carried within moments. Among the attack survivors was a sniper named Miggs Mayfield, and Hess himself. Now, if Mayfield sounds familiar, he makes a screen appearance in the Mandalorian series. On Morak and 9 ABY, Valen Hess would offer to Operation Cinder with Din Djarin and Miggs Mayfield, who were both undercover unknown to Hess, infiltrating the Imperial base. He noted that the Rhydonium Mayfield and Din Djarin had brought would actually help the Imperial remnants carry out operations even bigger than that of Operation Cinder. Mayfield, having fostered regret and misgivings about his role in Operation Cinder, decided to shoot and kill his former superior then and there, which forced him and Din Djarin to fight their way out of the base and eventually leading Mayfield to decide to detonate the rescued batch of Rhydonium, causing a chain reaction of explosions that brought forth significant damage to the base. 3 months after the Battle of Endor, the Empire continued to carry out Operation Cinder on countless worlds. A dozen other worlds were targeted or still being targeted, including Burning Khan, Kandovent, Abid Nidor, Kamenor, Necronis, and Santhoradros, to which endured shattering of its crust. The Republic was able to determine the purpose of many of these attacks, though they found that some of the Empire's motivations behind others were less clear. Nonetheless, Republic forces were able to save untold numbers of civilians as the result of combating the Imperial operation. Despite that, it would still be many months until the end of the war came to an end, with Admiral Gail Akbar and General Krix Madine seeing no end to the hostilities with the Empire in the short term. Naboo was targeted by the Empire again during the Naboo invasions in an attempt to wipe out the New Republic forces on the planet, but the Republic was able to thwart these attacks as they had done with Operation Cinder. The final phase of the contingency was ultimately carried out in 5 ABY, as the New Republic forces attacked the Empire, assembled on Jakku by Consular Gallius Rax during the Battle of Jakku. Using the power of ancient Sith artifacts buried in the surface, Rax sought out to carry the final parts of Palpatine's contingency by corrupting the planet's core and life essence with the dark side, thus destroying the desert planet and wiping out both the Imperial and Republic forces, crippling both sides. The contingency was cancelled, however, by Grand Admiral Rhea Sloane, who further sought revenge against Rax after he removed her from power. She killed Rax, though in his dying breath he urges Sloane to regroup with the select Imperial officers and loyalists in the unknown regions to begin the new Empire. Sloane's actions undermined Operation Cinder. Nevertheless, by taking Rax's place as leader of the Imperials who escaped into the unknown regions, she became part of the foundation of the First Order. As a result, the Emperor's contingency proceeded according to his plan to return to power. The Republic emerged victorious during the battle and signed the Galactic Concordance with Empire's Grand Vizier Masamida, bringing an end to the Galactic Civil War. However, in the unknown regions of the galaxy, Sloane, Brendel, Hux, and other Imperial loyalists formed the First Order, seeking to one day reclaim the Imperial legacy as they plotted to return to power. If you guys like this video, check out these other videos I got over here. They're really cool and awesome, and give them a little look. Thanks you guys for watching, consider subscribing, and may the Force be with you.